Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I'm here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And another day, another drama on the Mary Sue.
Oh, God, yes. It was funny. I shared this, and in 45 minutes, they had 13 likes. In 5 minutes, I had more than that.
I know, right? Like, the Mary Sue is completely out of touch with where regular people are.
Yeah, where most people are, yes.
Most people are. And we're going to talk about this. The Mary Sue went after Zachary Levi for calling for peace between two political parties. Just like alleged President-elect Joe Biden, hasn't been confirmed yet, is calling for. He's getting blasted by the Mary Sue for daring to say that we should all try to get along.
Well, the comment on Twitter was something like, you don't ask your abusers, you don't to help you or something. I forget exact wording, but basically it was like, wait, you're abusers. Says the website who's been going around harassing and calling people names for not liking Captain Marvel, She-Ra, and Star Wars.
Yeah, we're going to talk about this because I wondered what was going to happen if Biden won. Would these media outlets that have spent the last 4 or 5 years mining outrage from Donald Trump, are they going to stay in business, or are they just going to start attacking people who don't toe the line? I don't know. I think they're always looking for something to be angry about.
Oh,
right?
Yeah. Well, they need something to be angry about to get hits.
Yeah. So they're gonna go after celebrities that don't go all political. And Zach Levi, he's always been kind of.
I don't know. When the Captain Marvel thing was going on, he was like buying into the whole bull crap about people were just hating on it because of Brie Larson, which wasn't what was going on. I mean, Brie Larson made some comments, but people just didn't like the movie and they turned it into, well, you just don't like women.
Yeah. I mean, look, he probably didn't want to get caught in the crossfire of it being a pissing contest between two Captain Marvels.
Right, that's exactly what it was.
And, it's very easy to get canceled in Hollywood now, so we'll see where this goes. Anyway, before we get into the discussion, please subscribe to Clownfish TV if you have not done so already, guys. We're over 150,000 subs.
Yay!
That is more than the Mary Sue has. Considerably
really?
more. Considerably more than the Mary Sue has. Just want to put that out there.
I just think because general people are just tired of it.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that because, again, these websites and Twitter do not reflect where real people are. Before we get into it, we're going to do a quick shill.
Yeah, it's our job.
So if you go to shopclownfish.com and go to our online store, there is a sale. I think it ends today on hoodies.
Now, I'm looking forward to the time you get the other designs up, like Sorry Mom and things like that.
Yeah, we've got some more designs coming, but right now you can save $10. We do have Suck a Peach.
Yes. Suck
a Peach hoodies.
That is an homage to Pinky Boo.
No. And we've got some more merch coming down the pipeline. We're going to have some holiday merch here pretty soon. In the next couple weeks, we're going to have a Festivus jersey. And we've also got our ugly clownfish sweater and hat. And we're going to have new pins.
That's right. A two-pack.
A two-pack of pins. And I think they're also going to reissue a very limited run of the Clownfish, the original Clownfish.
Okay, because I don't think they have many left.
They do not. So check it out, shopclownfish.com. Let's talk about this. Coming from the Mary Sue, Zachary Levi gets roasted for out-of-touch election posts.
It's not out of touch. Okay, it's out of touch to people like the Mary Sue who live in an echo chamber and hang out on Twitter. The majority of people in America are tired of both extremes and all the bullshit. They're just tired of it. And, he's about our age. Back, people were rational.
Yeah, there definitely has been a change. I'm not going to say it's a completely ageist thing, but there definitely has been a change, I think, in some of the younger generations. So this coming from the Mary Sue, will liberals ever be able to forgive Trump voters for electing a racist, sexist, narcissist, sociopath?
Okay, what racist? It was... I'm just going to say this. Go look into both people and look at what they've said and done. That's not a one-sided thing on the racism thing. Narcissist, yes, I'll give you that.
Yeah, I'll definitely give you that.
He does have a tendency to be a little bit narcissistic.
But. Now, this does come right after Joe Biden himself said that Trump supporters are not our enemies. So, for people hoping to bridge the gap, and look, the country is split. I don't care who you voted for. The country is split. I mean, it was a very, very close election. And that shows where people are. Biden's basically like, let's all, can we de-escalate things a little bit? Meanwhile, the media...
We'll never be able to forget them for the racist, sexist. You mean like, I don't need all you men to tell me about hot takes about Captain Marvel? You mean your sexist comments to men? Or the comments you made about people who didn't like, Star Wars or She-Ra or whatever dumb thing that you got your butt and panties in a twist about?
Yeah. So here Shazam star Zachary Levi posted this on Instagram, not on Twitter.
Yes, they had to bring it over. They had to tweet about it.
Have you noticed that this is a trend? Just before we get into what he actually said, more and more people, I think, are leaving Twitter.
Because it's a shithole?
Because it's a shithole, including myself. I think I'm out completely. As of today, I'm out. I can't even with Twitter anymore. But a lot of these celebrities, they post on Instagram, the media outlets, so they can't roast them on Twitter, so they go grab their Instagram
Right,
post,
because they're so desperate for attention.
bring it over to their website and to Twitter to roast them over there, where they probably are completely unaware of it, can't defend themselves.
To be fair, though, hardly anybody watches or reads the Mary Sue, so not many people saw it.
Right. Well, that's what they did with Chris Pratt, too. They went and got the post from Instagram. Now, Zachary Levi has almost 85,000 likes on this. So apparently he's not the only one who feels this way. He said, today, half of us Americans are rejoicing while the other half of us are gripped with fear. With few exceptions, this is the cycle we have been stuck in since time immemorial.
True.
That is true. We cannot break this cycle merely by electing new leaders. We must care enough about the fears and concerns and hearts of those we fundamentally disagree with. Only then shall we all be seen and heard and loved and free. And
for a bunch of people who go on about how we need to hug it out with our cartoons, and if you have an enemy and a villain, they're just a good guy, just needs love. They sure as hell like to be the ones that are the most vicious name-calling pieces of people around.
Dude, read the room. Dems have spent the last 4 years in constant terror.
Constant terror.
As Trump and his band of racist asshats strip away protections. He ignored coronavirus, yada, yada.
Oh, it's the same bull crap that can be disproved on multiple times. Whatever.
Trump supporters have waged a constant war of anger and aggression from the F your feelings mantra to Charlottesville. And now we're supposed to show compassion for the lock her up crowd. Okay, so here's the thing. And we've said this before. There are extremists
100%
on both sides of the aisle. So you're going to tell me that if you got two grandmas and one grandma votes Democratic and one grandma votes Republican, okay, and they're not, even neither one of them's an extremist.
They're not even on social media.
They're not allowed to talk to each other? That grandma should be locked up?
Because this is also the same news outlets that deliberately step over people who are LGBTQ, people of color, that aren't male. They step over them if they have an opinion different than theirs. This is the same type of media who, when they go out there and try to find, all these people that agree with them, and then completely ignore the ones who don't fit into their boxes that back what they want. That's these people, the same people. And I'm so tired of hearing this, because you know what? For all you're saying about the people on the far, right saying this, I can 100% show you a bunch of people on the far left behaving the exact same way, and both are wrong. Both are wrong. And people like this and this attitude is why it's going to keep perpetuating, and nothing's ever going to get better or change, because we can't have it get better and change. We won't get any damn hits. We barely get hits now.
That's not untrue. I mean, that's the thing. A lot of these websites have spent the last 4 or 5 years mining outrage and media in general, and it's always been this way. It's always been this way. I was a newspaper editor.
Yeah, but it's way worse now than I could ever remember it.
Right, but it's always been mostly left-leaning.
Oh yes, definitely.
Most media outlets, especially online, have been left-leaning. So they're of course going to go hard in the paint to be like. But I think what shocks me is, I thought, okay, fine, let's just, because Biden's pretty moderate. I'm like, can we move on? Can we move forward? Can we try to piece things back together? Whatever. And I think the vast majority of people in this country would like everybody to get their shit together and just move forward and try not to be so polarizing and try whatever. And anybody on either side of the aisle that is calling for that, I'm on board with it.
Right, because what I'm not on board with is making blacklists, telling people they should go to their neighbors that voted for Trump, and have words with them and things like that. These far leftists have been saying, and I agree with what Zachary Levi says here too. They're talking about that we lost the 2016 election. A lot of for us it was because ACA, the Obamacare, might be dissolved. You know what? I'm going to tell you objectively, Obamacare, it drove the prices of medical insurance up, and a lot of people who had to pay for it couldn't pay for it either. It's not just you. There was a lot of things about it that did not work, and there were a lot of things that could have been made better. Now, I'm saying we can't just keep staying on that stuff. We have to look at what we can do to make things better. And I'm sorry, it wasn't perfect. I don't care who you are. It wasn't perfect. That's just the truth of the situation.
Well, if I recall correctly, Biden said he was actually going to rework it and have Biden care and not Obamacare.
And then my next question is, if it's so effing great and it was so fair, why the heck did Congress and the Senate and people that had jobs had better health care and didn't take it? If it's so wonderful and great and it was for everybody and it wasn't going to drive your prices up or anything like that, why did they opt themselves out of it, but no one else was allowed to opt themselves out of it? I mean, I understand. I am a person that's on board with universal health care for basic healthcare coverage. And if you want better coverage, you pay for it yourself. I am behind that. I do not think Obamacare was that. I do not think, I think the plan to basically put regulations on, insurers and pharmaceutical companies so they can't just keep gouging for things is not a bad idea. I think you need to find a solution that works that's in the middle somewhere. I don't think either one was an ideal solution. But anyway, continue.
Well, the problem is you're never going to find a solution in the middle because everybody is yelling at each other and they're not listening to what
not everybody. The loud extremists are.
So it's basically like being in a dysfunctional household where mom and dad are sitting at opposite ends of the dinner table, screaming at each other and
calling each other names, being racist, sexist,
right,
islamophobes,
and you've got like 8 terrified children sitting in between them, like, what the hell is going on? Why can't we, and it's just a bunch of food getting thrown, whatever.
They wonder why the children leave as soon as they're able to.
Right. So Zach Levi, this guy's basically like, people like you, Zach, are the reason the country sucks, and he's being very
I think he's being very reasonable and fair.
With all due respect, I disagree.
As do we, Zach.
Yep. To minimize and trivialize all conservative concerns into these trite examples shows a great lack of explored empathy, in my humble opinion.
Agreed. And I would say the same thing if it was reversed.
Yeah, don't just buy the headline or clickbait or funny meme.
Yep.
Dig deeper, you'll find a human much like you.
Exactly. I keep saying, do I not keep saying we have more in common than we have that's different? And I think that's people keep trying to unite. They keep trying to make sure that you don't. Don't you think there's a reason for this?
It, of course, begs mention that Levi is a rich white guy, so he hasn't experienced any of the fallout the rest of us have from the last 4 years. Dude, listen to when people are talking.
Excuse me. There are a lot of people who aren't rich white dudes who are thinking the same thing he is. For example, I'm not a rich white dude. Agree with them. I think there's a lot of people that follow us who aren't white, male, or rich, and they all agree with him. The fact that he got so much support means a lot of people agree with him. You know who didn't get a lot of views on the article? The Mary Sue.
You know who else is a rich white guy?
The guy who owns the Mary Sue?
Yeah, well, yeah, him too, and also the guy they voted in office. But I'm just gonna put that out there. So Levi says, "Hey, it doesn't matter, Zach. You're in the same boat we are. This is how we feel, and you're in the same boat. We've actually had before I get into this." A whole bunch of people come out of the woodwork that I have never heard from before, and they're like, we're longtime fans, and I can't believe that you're even giving any, conceding anything to any sort of Trump support. I'm like, then you're not listening, because we've always been in the middle. We've always been trying to, hear both sides out on things. We've actually been against people being over the top with their politics, and that's on either side. We just want people to go back to, having fun, pop culture, and all that stuff.
Being reasonable. You don't need you don't need politics shoved into everything. You don't need agendas shoved into everything. And that doesn't make you extreme left or extreme right. That just makes you reasonable.
So Zach Levi, I'm no fan or supporter of Trump.
Same.
I find his behavior to be vulgar, callous, narcissistic.
I do think it is narcissistic.
Yeah, and lacking empathy. He says, while I'm not a conservative, I know many who backed 45 not because they liked him, but because he was the only candidate that they felt cared about.
As do I. And I know a lot of people who backed him because they liked him as well.
So here it goes, guys. Here's where it always goes with news outlets.
Oh my God, they're going to go with the Nazi thing?
Yes, they are.
Do I again want to say lists, labeling people, trying to put people up on trial for why they did things the way they do, trying to make sure it's like one party system, all that. That sounds very Nazi-esque. That is coming from one particular side, and it's not the side they keep yelling about.
Just because MAGA folks are sad doesn't mean we have to be their shoulder to cry on. Don't ask abused people to comfort their abusers.
That's what I said. Yep. Don't ask abused people to come to their abusers. So don't ask the Mary Sue to comfort you ever, because they have abused people like us many, many times.
History has a word for Germans who joined the Nazi Party, not because they hated Jews, but out of a hope for restored patriotism or a sense of economic anxiety, or a hope to preserve their religious values or dislike of their opponents, or raw political opportunism or convenience or ignorance or greed. That word is Yahtzee.
Okay, you know what? I'm going to stop you right there, and I'm going to have words. Mary Sue, back the fuck off. Because, you know what? And sorry, Mom. Because here's the thing. I am so tired of people like you and other news outlets using this Nazi thing. You know what? No one cares anymore. The word means nothing. And you have completely made the word mean nothing, which is unfair to people who are victims of real Nazis, people who died, and Jewish people that were tortured and died in concentration camps. You people that keep using the word Nazi are also the ones going on about, we need to stop teaching that in history because it's sad. Well, you can't have both ways. And I'm so tired of this. You have taken a word that meant something and you've made it to mean nothing because you keep misusing it. That is not what Nazism is at all. I'm sorry, but I think, wanting to push the things that are being pushed and the behaviors that I've been seeing out of far leftists are far more burning books and etc. is far more Nazi-esque than anything you want to call everybody else. So stop it. Because you know what? Everybody's tired of hearing it. You've been using it for years. I'm going to call you that because that's going to make you think, oh my God, I don't want to be a bad person. And I'll just suddenly say, you're right, Mary Sue. You're right, because I don't want to be labeled as that. People don't care. It means nothing. And you did it. People like you made it mean nothing. And it's insulting to people who actually suffered. And it's not right. And I'm sorry for yelling, but I'm really pissed. I'm so tired of that because my great uncle cleaned out a concentration camp. He would never speak of it because it was so horrible. And he would never call somebody that just because he was mad at them and didn't vote the way he wanted as an insult. Because that was even far beyond anything you call somebody. Nobody deserved being called that except for actual Nazis. These people not voting the way you want isn't the same. And for all you yelling about people, how did they're racist and they're phobic and all that, says the people being racist and phobic closely. Zoe Saldana stands up for Chris Pratt and you guys call her racist names. It's like, do not! You do not get to sit there. If you want to say that, then you act better.
Ironically, the Mary Sue has a strict comment policy that forbids but is not limited to personal insults toward anyone, hate speech, and trolling.
So I think I don't matter that ever. But I'm so tired of people using it as an insult.
So they're literally calling Zach Levi, who's calling for peace, a Nazi sympathizer.
Well, I'm calling the Mary Sue a Nazi sympathizer.
They're building a list. So this is the thing. This is where it's going to, again, it doesn't matter what Joe Biden says. It doesn't matter. The media is not going to let this go. A
lot of Republicans are coming out saying Joe's not that bad. It's going to be fine. Joe's not really not that bad. He has more in common than he doesn't. I honestly don't know. Time will tell. We don't even know if he won, for pity's sakes. But what I'm saying is, he's being reasonable. Zach Levi's being reasonable. But the media not being reasonable.
Yeah, then that's where this is going to go. Because I thought, well, if Trump disappeared tomorrow, deleted his Twitter, left the White House, everything, you would think that maybe the media would calm down, but they're not going to. What they're going to do now is they're going to go find anyone who had any. So good luck with this, because again, we're talking half the country. They're going to go find anyone who has any shred of sympathy or understanding for the other side. And
it's another site, Vox. Oh, who's surprised?
Vox. Yeah. So Vox. These memes want Democrats and Republicans to be friends. Good luck. Again, Joe Biden himself. They're not our enemies.
They are the ones. They want you to stay fighting. If you stay fighting and you still hate your neighbor but voted a different way than you, then you keep reading their shit. That's what this whole thing's about. And you know what? Most people don't even know who the person voted for. I go down the street all the time and I see people walking and I smile, I say hi to them. I have a lot of people I know that are friends. I have no idea who they voted for. I didn't ask them because it's not my damn business. And you know what? I still treat them the same. They still treat me the same, like most Americans do. It's these extremist trash bags that are running the media, that are on both sides, that are trying to keep people against each other's throats. And I'm sick of it.
Well,
Grow up.
They need it. They need it. They, again, you know, if you defeat the quote unquote final boss, you still have to run your website. You still have to. So the only, you know, way that these sites can stay in business is if they go find other mini bosses to constantly, you know, and it's going to be everybody at that point, you know. But I mean, I thought this was maybe an uncommon thing because, again, you know, where we're at, we've got family on both sides of the situation. But I literally came across some comic book people on Twitter who are like, I haven't spoken to my family in 5 years because of this. You know, they're like, I won't talk to my mom because she admitted to me she voted for Trump. So I haven't talked to her for 5 years. I'm like, wow. So that's where some of these people are at, you know?
Well, I saw this post. And like, stop posting shit like no matter who wins or loses. You know, it's like a baseball game. People's lives, body, autonomy, rights, and freedom are literally at stake. Ignorance and insensitivity is embarrassing. You mean like the people who supposedly voted for Trump that you're making lists to blacklist, to haul in, to Spanish Inquisition them? You mean like that? You're doing the exact same damn thing.
Yeah, this is, again, it's extremism on both sides that makes, you know, living in the middle being incredibly difficult because the vast majority of the country is somewhere in the middle.
And that's not just white people, straight people, you know, etc.
Yeah, it's
men.
Yeah, because we actually have I would say we've got a pretty large following of, you know, conservative-leaning, non-white, non-straight people.
Yeah.
Just going by some of the comments I've seen.
This is Bob and Sally. One of them voted for Trump. One of them voted for Biden. And they could be friends like adults. Don't listen to the media sites like Vox and the Mary Sue that want you to hate each other and keep fighting so they get views and they can just continue this perpetual cycle of violence and misinformation for another 4 years.
Yeah, so this is...
if they're around then.
They're not going to be around. The Mary Sue's dying on the vine. They tried YouTube.
Can't happen fast enough.
Yeah, so I think a lot of these news outlets are going to be in for a very rude awakening. But attacking a guy like Zachary Levi, who's got a pretty large following, and you know, a lot of people.
Well, they keep doing this, and Hollywood's going to turn against them too.
Chris Pratt. I mean, these are bankable actors.
These are the new tabloids of you know, our era.
Yeah, so keep doing that. You know, we'll see if the Mary Sue's around in 2 years. Again, the Mary Sue, which is owned by a rich white guy, by the way. That, you know, he's letting these ladies do their thing as long as they're bringing ad revenue. But I don't think they're bringing ad revenue because they're constantly rattling the tin cup. So are we going to wrap this up?
Oh, yes.
Okay, so please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants here on Clownfish TV. We'll talk later.
Bye.
Hey guys, thanks for watching Clownfish TV. Please consider supporting the channel. Go to clownfishsupport.com. That's clownfishsupport.com. And if you want to join our community, go to clownfishtalk.com. That's clownfishtalk.com. Please subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. We will talk to you next time.